What is shaking Golden Mike 105 with my buddy Matt Hollywood Mill? I told you people Matt's about to blow up. Hollywood Matt Mills is with us today, a career coach, a person who will get you some clarity more than just telling your ass to find your passion, and my friend Matt Mills. Matt, it is good to have you here today. How are things shaking over here in LA? I think we're like right across the street from each other.
Yeah. I actually, what people don't know is we're in the next room, right next to
Right.
Yeah. I took a bird scooter over to your place. Yeah.
You took a bird scooter. Of course, that would be like a very LA thing to do, right?
Yeah. But it's raining. Nobody knows how to drive out here.
Well, the first thing I noticed about here, Hollywood, is this idea that everyone uses and puts the word "the" in front of the streets.
That's
What
right.
is the deal with that?
We put a lot of importance in our freeways. So
And what is the deal with the fact that like everything, like there's a tiny amount of rain and it's a state of fucking emergency out here right now? What is going on?
when the sun goes away, we don't know what to do.
Seriously,
Yeah.
literally everyone has the privilege of having like the amazing weather here that like parts of LA sink into the ocean when it like sprinkles a little bit of water out here. Like it was the first thing on the news last night. So
Yeah.
I'm continuing to learn more about this city. It looks like we're gonna go eat at this place called Father's Office. I want to talk about that with you in a bit.
Yeah.
But for those of you watching live or on the replay, and I know that you are, our boy Jeff St. Laurent is watching. Bruno, good to see you. Love you, Hollywood. You're beautiful. Hollywood, look, you already have a fan base out here.
I love it.
For those of you who haven't met me, my name is Mark Cordone, positive psychology coach. That's the most important thing. Just in case you're wondering what I do with that, I have a program called Make Money Coaching. That's where you and I met. Hollywood, that's where you got the moniker, and I can't wait to see you in the Joy Revolution. I'm the chief disruptive officer of that. More importantly, on a daily basis, we're trying to figure out when it comes to this idea of living in your passion and not just doing that from a standpoint of lazy knuckleheaded advice, but like truly living in your passion. That's one thing that I do as a positive psychologist, which is why I'm so excited to have Hollywood with us today. And then the second thing, and by the way, what kind of background is that? Are you in your house?
Yeah. I live in darkness. It's a cave.
Is the power out because there's sprinkles over here?
I mean, if the sun was out, it'd be shining in. But
it's beautiful. It's beautiful right now. It's like live from Transylvania.
Yeah,
Hollywood. Yeah. But then the other thing, y'all, is how happy are you today? And so, Hollywood, that's a question that I have for you. How happy are you, and how much are you living in your full purpose right now?
Oh, I am so happy because I'm here with you, Mark.
Oh.
I feel like, especially coming into 2019, I'm living purposeful every single day.
That wasn't something that was going on in 2018 for you?
No, it was just gearing up. It was gearing up. And now it's just keeping that momentum going. And I'm not going to apologize for being in my purpose. So I want to keep going.
I love it. Laura, we see you. Ruben, we see you. Happy birthday to you, Laura, by the way.
Yeah.
For those of you who are living in your full purpose, in 2019, you've been gearing up for a long period of your life. This is what I want you to do. Hollywood, I want you to raise your Hollywood hands, your $1 million hands. I want you to make a heart with me right now. For those of you watching live or in the replay, if you're living in full purpose right now, give this man some hearts. Let him know you are fully living. Now, here's the other thing. A lot of people think that positive psychology is like 24/7 shits and giggles, Taco Tuesday every day, Skittles raining from the sky like over here in Los Angeles, falling into the ocean. So like, here's the thing. That is not what positive psychology is about. It's actually about embracing all the ups and the downs and the all arounds of your life. So if you're waking up today and you're like, dude, like I was super happy last week at Cordone, if you would have asked me this, like I was super excited for 30 years because I was living in passion. And now I'm looking at my job and I'm like, what a bullshit job. You're out of passion. Guess what? That is super cool. That dissonance is part of you living the dream, living your life, telling your story. So this is the thing. If you're a little bit out right now, but you're just wanting to enjoy the show, have a couple laughs, That is cool. Stick your hand up and give us the thumbs up sign. Hit that thumbs up button. Let us know that you're alive, because your heart beats just like Hollywood and mine. Hollywood can't stand me. And so give us the thumbs up. Let us know you're alive. Now, here's the final thing. With all of this stuff, more important than anything else, whether you're happy, whether you're sad, whether you're in passion, whether you're out of it. Yeah, and we do see that thumbs up, Jim DeVoy. It's good to see you. Whether you're happy, you're sad, you're all around, whatever. If you feel optimistic about the future, if you know that today is going to be even better than yesterday, there's one more button down there. I know that you've been doing this in dress rehearsal, Matt Mills. I know you've been doing this, Hollywood. I know that you wrote this into all your screenplays. Hollywood, give us the wow face sucker MC. Goodness, you like wound up on that one, man. You're like Slimer from Ghostbusters. Oh yeah, we're gonna use movie references today, baby.
Yeah, keep them coming.
So given all that, dude, thank you for entertaining that long-winded introduction. Matt Mills, I want to start this off before we even talk about other people finding their passion and why that's lazy advice for us to give out.
Mm-hmm.
What is your story, dude?
Yeah, so I didn't get the name Hollywood from you for nothing. So starting out, I was somebody, I live out in LA, live out in Hollywood. And of course, like many others, I came out here and was working in the entertainment industry because it was just, I lived and breathed movies, TV, everything, pop culture growing up. So it was my passion. Came out here, decided to pursue a career working in that field. And about 5 or 6 years into it, I kept waking up being like, this sucks. This is not what I want to be doing. And so I was super lost, super confused. And, I didn't know how to figure things out. I didn't know what was going on. I was like, this was something I was obsessed about. How am I not happy with what I'm doing? How is this passion something that's like just not jiving with who I feel like I really am? And so kind of was feeling like there was something more in me that wanted to break through. So, I took a lot of searching, a lot of support, but, I talked to a coach, I talked to a couple of other people and just kind of was starting to get that clarity. And one of the things somebody kind of pointed out was they were like, when you talk about teaching and coaching, that's really when I kind of hear you feel you come alive, and just everything clicked from right there. And so, I did something crazy, and I left my job, left my career. I'd gotten up, I was a young exec, creative exec, and gotten to that level. So I was kind of on my way, but I decided I'm going to do something crazy. And so I volunteered to teach English in Tanzania for a year. And so I did that, and it just, my life changed, and I decided I was going to pursue the teaching and coaching. And so years later, that's where I am. And so really now what I'm doing is helping other people who are in that same situation, who are feeling a little bit stuck, feeling a little bit lost, frustrated, not sure of what they want to do, and helping them find those careers or find that career path where they really feel like, they're thriving, where it's more than just that passion, but something that they can really thrive in.
So let me ask you this. I mean, you go from exec to teaching in Tanzania, right?
Yeah.
And it almost sounds in this, when you're retelling the story, that it was like this, you come out of bed one morning and you're like, dude, something's off.
Yeah.
And like, can you, in retrospect, put your finger on what it actually was that happened from sort of going to sleep one night and then waking up the next day, and maybe it wasn't that hyperbolic, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it was something that was creeping up on you and it just became in front of your mind and you were conscious of it. But can you tell me what happened?
Yeah, it was just, so I call it pulling the thread. And it was something where I knew something wasn't right, and it was just holding me back from operating in just normal functioning, you know, something wasn't right. I was feeling stressed out. I was feeling more angst probably in my 20s than I ever did when I was a teenager. There was just something where I was like, this just can't be right. And so what was happening was, you know, I was being open and honest about it.
Yeah.
And it was something where I was exploring something where I was really interested. So what I realized when I was at my entertainment job was actually the best part of my job was running the internship program, working with the kids in high school and college. And that was the most fulfilling part of my job. So it was like turning on a receiver. And it was like, wait a minute, that's something that I really love. That's something that I really enjoy. That's something that I'm good at. And so that's when I started to pull that thread. And, you know, I started doing some volunteer tutoring and teaching and really just kind of exploring the opportunities. And then what happened was things were just coming to me. The universe was like coming to me and saying, here's where you got to go. And I just followed that.
So you fell down the rabbit hole after like you got a little bit of like, you could start creating a distinguishment, because ostensibly you fell into your dream job almost right away.
Yeah, it's a process.
Yeah.
It totally is. And it's easy to look in hindsight and think, oh, it happened like that. No, it took a couple years. It really did. From the time when I realized something wasn't right to the time when I took action, it probably was about two years. And there was a lot of ups and downs, but you know, you look back and it's crazy to think about now, but
So let's go into that, man, because it took 2 years from the point where you realized something was off to the point where, you know, you actually took action on that. And you know what, like, I'm not putting you on blast because like it's resonating with me. It took me like 7 or 8 years once I realized that I was going to be out of higher education to actually get out of it.
Yeah.
You know? For me, it had to do with like fear. It had to do with what if I'm not going to make it on my own as an entrepreneur, you know? And it's like inside I wanted to be that, but then like I thought it was an irresponsible thing to do, you know? And like, what about you, man? That's 2 years. That's
well,
800 days, man.
To be fair, totally. And to be fair, you know, someone had told me I was in a different life situation. I was younger. So somebody was pretty much had said, you know what, you don't own a house. You don't have a family. Like, why don't you just take advantage of that? You know, and not everybody's in that situation, especially now with a lot of people I work with, they're in their 30s and they have a lot more of those responsibilities, but you can still open up and make those choices where it might not be moving across the world and teaching for no money, you know, in a developing country, but you can still make that happen. But for me, that's really where it was somebody just said, you know what, don't waste your days. Just get out and do what it is that's calling to you. So I went to the extreme and did that. But I acknowledge not everybody can be in that situation.
And was there a particular like line that you read in a book? Was it a particular thing that someone had said to you, or was it like an internal voice that had basically, I mean, because going to Tanzania and teaching from being an exec in entertainment.
Yeah.
Like,
so I followed
on paper, those seem like two contrastes.
So it's following the clues. It really is. So what was happening was I was meeting people who were doing what I really wanted to do. So I was friends with teachers, and I was like, wait a minute, I want to be doing what you're doing. That actually sounds really more in line with who I am, with what I'm doing. And so I just did that. And so actually what happened, the reason why I ended up in Tanzania was I was applying for a Teach for America, going through a Teach for America application because I knew people in that program. And I thought, you know what, let me do that. I explored the Peace Corps. I just kind of explored. And so what happened was I was not even a page through the Teach for America application. And one of the options said, if you don't get into this program, what are you going to do? And one of this options said, this program, World Teach. I Googled World Teach, and immediately I was like, that's what I want to do. That's where I want to go, travel the world. I want to go teach abroad. So it was a whole process. It was I did informational interviews with people who were teachers. I just explored it. I pulled that thread. So looking back, it can seem like, oh, just one day I switched, but it was a whole process. It happened very organically, but it took a lot of courage. So, and as far as for the line, someone told me, and I kind of live by this quote, it's like, courage is not the absence of fear, but the acknowledgement that something's more important than the fear.
Yep.
So that
what was more important to you?
What's that?
What was more important then?
Taking that chance,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Having that challenge.
Gotcha.
That was really what it was. Yes, quarter life crisis.
So I'm putting it up there, dude, because one of the things that I see happening is whenever someone will fall into something where they're pursuing purpose on a deeper level, right?
Yeah.
Whenever they're pursuing purpose on a deeper level and they start taking action, the response is that people will diagnose you as having some sort of crisis, right?
Totally.
And so was this a quarter life? Would you consider that a quarter life crisis?
100%. 100%. Yo, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think a lot of times now, and it happens a lot with millennials, it happens a lot with the younger generations, where there's a lot of, you got to take these steps and you got to have everything figured out in college and pick a major. And now, we've shared our bond over working in higher ed. And so a big thing with higher ed is a lot of universities are saying, like, we'll help you figure out what your job's going to be, what your career path's going to be for the rest of your life. And so there's a lot of pressure to figure that out.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are now following those steps and thinking, I've done everything right that I was told. I worked really hard and I followed that. And so when it all kind of doesn't resonate anymore, when things change in your life, when your worldview changes, all of that, when that just then that can feel really, it's powerful in a way where it can feel like what is going on. And so, yeah, I would say that that's a crisis, that when it happens, quarter life, I think now it happens at all stages of life. So it doesn't have to happen in your mid-20s. It can happen in your early 30s. It can happen in your, I know there's now the quarter life crisis, there's the midlife crisis.
Yep.
I'm seeing now it happens all the time. So, if you're 30, you're feeling this, or 35, you're not going through a midlife crisis. You still got some times going. You're not in a quarter life crisis. There's just.
Is that like a 1/3 life crisis?
Yeah.
And I love
crisis. Yeah.
I love how Walt is reframing this right now. He's like, maybe more of a quarter life transformation you were going
totally,
crisis, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Transformation's a great word for that. Yeah.
Yeah, and Jorge's tuning in from Puerto Rico. We always have to show our number one guest or our number one contributor, Jorge, that we love him. Jorge, it's always awesome seeing you, brother. So I want to get right into this then. This idea that of finding your purpose, and in working in higher education, we can go there for a second. That was something that was almost driven from the standpoint of an espoused value that a university tells people to do, like find your passion, declare it, and then graduate with us so we can have wonderful graduation rates and retention rates and all that good stuff. But more important than that, I know that you talk about the idea of finding your passion. That can be lazy advice. And so I want to know what you mean by that.
Yeah. So, the word passion it's so misconstrued. So a lot of people, I think they think, oh, I got to find my passion, or I got to follow your passion. Or those phrases, follow your passion, you'll never have to work a day in your life, or find your bliss and everything else is easy. So what that does is then that puts a lot of pressure
Hmm.
on people to find what is that one thing that's going to make me happy. I can't figure it out. And they define it by something specific. And a lot of times when we're talking about careers, people define it as like, what is that one job that I'm doing that I can love, like more than anything, to get up in the morning and all of that. And I can get very theoretical about this in like the different types of passion, but really it comes from more than just having that one thing. And it comes more from having also something define who you are and really like what you would say is passion. So yeah, I think like that's really, it's like, if you're following your passion, I thought I did that and working in entertainment. I loved everything about it. What I realized, it was better. Somebody was like, maybe it's better hobby than it is a full-time career. That was another thing that kind of helped figure out the light bulb. So you can still be passionate about your job. You can still be passionate about, you should be, but it's got to be more than just having that define exactly who you are.
That's really interesting because I hear a lot of folks, especially in the coaching world nowadays, say once you discover your passion, everything else comes easily.
Yes,
right. The money will come in easily for you. I'm seeing that. I'm seeing the head going like this. Hollywood, what's going on?
Yeah, it's like, so there's like two types of passion.
Okay.
There's one is obsessive, one's harmonious. So obsessive is really where it's like you have to be, you just have to do this and all else, despite everything else that's going on. Harmonious is something where you can love it, you can do it, but it can have its own place in your world and in your life. And it also goes back to that growth versus fixed mindset. So people are into Carol Dweck, and they've done studies about this, really about this growth versus fixed and this obsessive versus harmonious passion. So, I think when people say find that one passion, they're advising people find that obsessive passion. But there are studies out there where it's like, if you do that, you're hurting yourself with what you're doing, and then for all else. But you got to find that thing that's harmonious, that's going to help bring that joy, but is not going to help hinder you in all other areas of your life. And it's going to have its own place in your own world.
I think it's really interesting that you bring up this idea of obsessive passion, because in being in actually LA and Hollywood, the area, there's so many people, like it's almost like the culture is one of obsessive passion out here. So many people got drawn out here because of obsessive passion. Yeah.
And again, that's where like that term passion, it gets missed. Like passion is not the same as hard work. You can work really hard at what you're doing. So for example, if somebody wants to be an actor, somebody wants to be a screenwriter, director, like you can separate that passion with working hard. So, it doesn't need to consume every single waking moment of your thought, or else you're a failure. And I think that that's where that pressure comes in with people, where they think, I need to find this thing, this passion, because that's what's going to give me the edge to be successful. It's just not true.
So is there an implication that we're going after the wrong passion in the obsessive passion, or is there a sort of a silver lining towards having an obsessive passion?
So you have to be flexible with it. So that's the thing. I think that's where it's that growth versus fixed. So you have to have that growth mindset. So you can have that passion, but you have to be open for how it's going to come into your life.
Okay.
So like, I know, when I work with a lot of clients, especially when they're kind of lost and stuck in what they're doing in their careers or their jobs, you have to look at the larger vision, but you have to know that there's a lot of different roads to get there. So when it comes to the obsessive passion, I think sometimes people think, well, I got to do steps 1, 2, and 3, and 4, or else I'm not going to make it.
Yep.
That's just not true. So I think you have to really kind of be open to a lot of different possibilities. So I do. So for the record, like, I believe in passion. I believe that that's an important part of your life. I think the way that you define it as the end goal and how to get there needs to be a lot more flexible and, again, like, harmonious. So it's fitting in your life. And so I think it's like knowing your strengths. Like, I go through values, strengths, skills, like all of that with my clients, because that's all part of this formula with passion, where you're going to be thriving in your career.
You know what? And it doesn't seem, you can correct me on this, but there seems to be a healthy balance in which obsessive and harmonious passion intersect. And like, you can have a healthy obsession.
Yeah.
And also it can be harmonious with what it is that
Totally.
it's not destructing in other life domains, and you're not like picking up and making it seem like it's a crisis that you're going through. Is
Totally.
that a perception that makes sense, or are they mutually exclusive?
No, I think you're right. I think it does. Like, you can be obsessive about it. You know, there are things where, like, I like, there are things that I'm obsessive about, but you just have to know your boundaries, have to know its place, and then also know how to bring in other elements of who you are, what you're good at, what your strengths are, to help support that. And then again, I think it really comes down to that openness and flexibility, and just knowing that things are going to come to you. You know, I think I really do believe in that if you just set your vision ahead and are open to the possibilities, whether that's that obsessive passion, the harmonious passion, it'll reward you more than putting so much pressure on following one path or one specific job or career, whatever that may be.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm thinking about obsessive passion and how much systems like higher education set you up to be sort of a fanatic about rigidly following some sort of plan that you set up. You know, I'm thinking about how many students when I worked with them set themselves up for like major wall hitting in being like, I have my life figured out, right?
Yep.
I did air quotes because that's how corny I'm getting right now, but like, I've got everything figured out, and I'm gonna follow this like rigid system to get into Harvard Medical School, and that is how I'm going to be happy. And then the next thing you know is that, you know, there's 20 seats that they're picking out for the next class, and my student didn't become one of them, and it's completely devastating at this point. Even a plan B to get into medical school that's not Harvard, or to wait a year.
Totally.
And that's what I'm hearing with the drawback of obsessive passion, is that it's not necessarily the obsession, the passion from that standpoint, but it's sort of the rigid plan that we follow. And when it falls through, we have no other routes.
It's putting yourself in a tunnel. It's limiting your options and your line of visibility. So for that student, maybe Harvard probably wasn't, it might not have been the best place for them to go, but because they thought it was all or nothing with Harvard, that's going to set them up for more disappointment. Whereas more of the harmonious passion way of looking at it is, you know what, I'm really passionate about working in the medical field, and I'm open to the different possibilities that there are. You know, and it's exploring, okay, why is it that being in the medical field is really something that you're passionate about? And then it's opening yourself up to the different options with that, and the different routes to get there, so that it's also part about the journey and not just the destination.
I freaking love this, man. I freaking love this. And it looks like you've awakened the Kraken with Walter Aguilar over here. He's dropping some Joni Mitchell on us right now.
I love that. Yeah. I love that.
Life is what happens when we are busy making plans. And by the way, Melanie, Joanne, Kulas, Haley, we all see you. We see you. Thanks for watching right now. You've got quite the fan base, Hollywood. Words are affected by what our particular meanings, our ego give them to justify our actions. So in many ways, like he's picking up what you're throwing down. We are looking for something outside of ourselves and become over attached to that outcome or the destination. Again, I feel like that's a hat tip to why harmonious passion may be something that might be a long-term healthy thing to do, and building in failure into those systems, right? Because that's going to happen. um I want to go back and ask you something. How much um in the past have you been driven by obsessive versus um harmonious passion? And Ina, we see you, Ina's saying hello
Hey,
to Hollywood.
Holly.
Journey is not the destination. Yes, and you get 2 trophies for it. 2 trophies for what you had to say about that, Matt. So you can definitely comment on their comments, or let, like, how much have you been driven by harmonious versus obsessive in retrospect?
You know, yeah, I look back. There's a lot to think about when it was that I was more on the obsessive side than the harmonious side. I mean, growing up, it's really tied to my story. Growing up, I remember being in high school being like, why do I need to get good grades in chemistry? I want to work in Hollywood. I want to make movies. I don't care about this kind of stuff. Like, it was just.
Were you like a punk rock kid in high school, Hollywood?
Oh man, as opposite as you can get from punk rock. But
you were a big nerd, but you just didn't want to study.
No, I was a model student. Yeah,
Hollywood. Nice.
No, but I mean, it was everything to me. It was just, that was when I was obsessive. And here's the thing, I didn't even specifically know what I wanted to do. I just was obsessive about being in that world, being in that industry. And I shut out all the other possibilities. And you know what? A lot of times, I also hear this a lot from clients too, is it's like, man, I wish I could go back and make completely different decisions than I made. I wish I could have did a different major in college. I wish someone had taught me this specific skill. It's something like maybe, I wish I had like picked up the guitar when I was, so I think we all deal with it sometimes. Sometimes you see even in high school with kids where maybe they're an athlete in school. I was an athlete in school. I was pretty obsessive about running, and actually that was something that was kind of obsessive. And now it's very, very harmonious in my life. Something that I do because it fuels everything else that I have around.
And you're talking about like long distance running, like you have to go and put Band-Aids over your nipples type of running. Hollywood caught himself. Hollywood, you heard it first.
My wife's gonna
put Band-Aids on his nipples.
You know what? Because my wife's gonna watch this, she's gonna laugh because that's it's true. Yeah. I'm a Band-Aid over the nipple runner. That's how crazy I am. Yeah.
Dude, you gotta take care of those nipples. You gotta take care of those nipples. That's step one to living in harmonious passion.
I'm obsessive about protecting my nipples. So yeah.
I love it. And Tiffany Newman, woohoo! We're all obsessive about it. It's awesome. Tiffany, thanks for joining us here. Jonathan, Rocky Top is here.
Yes.
It's amazing how stressful it is when living with an obsessive passion compared to the balance that a harmonious passion provides.
Right on, Rocky Top.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I wanted to throw this out there because, again, this is something that I see a lot in the coaching community. I want to hear your take on this. Cassie is laughing her ass off right now.
Cassie.
So there's this idea of like, or the metaphor of burning boats, right? If you're passionate about something, when you approach the island and you go to war, burn your boat so you can't retreat. And you have no plan B. You must die on that island fighting for your passion.
That's right. Yeah.
What is your thought on that?
It drives me nuts. It's, I I get it, but at what cost? You know, and that's where, like, for me, I'm very much into, like, be open to the possibilities, be in the present moment. Yeah, I love that. I haven't heard too much about that actually with that, or I haven't heard that analogy that much, but I love it. And you know, especially with people in Hollywood, that's just, it's a common theme. It's just, you know what, you have to find every waking hour to write your screenplay or to make your movie, and you've got to do that. And again, I believe that you do need to have that drive. You can't go half-hearted into it. It's just the way that you're thinking about getting there. And so I don't believe that it's, when I'm talking about harmonious, I'm not saying like, yeah, you got to put it aside, but you have to really think about like what all is important. Think of it all in terms of the scope of the picture of your life, and really think of like, what is it that's important? And then also, why is that end destination important to you?
Yeah.
Like, what is it? And then how can you help to kind of bring it in? So, what are you holding in your hand? What? I'm seeing something that you're, because that might tie in.
I wanted to throw some propaganda out that I know that you read. I know that you read this propaganda, and Tiffany, I know that you distribute this propaganda. And by the way, I read this propaganda on a daily basis, and a lot of this has to do with, in order to take a quantum leap, you have to really optimize your life and burn some of those boats. And so that's what I'm really most interested in, because the idea of burning boats, I mean, even our brother Jonathan, Coach Jonathan, it's called all in coaching, going all in. And so what I'm most curious about is, at what point is going all in, at what point is burning the boats deleterious to your actual progress, or is it deleterious? Because it's almost like you're increasing the sense of urgency, where you go into like this primal survivalism in order to get to that next level. And that's just what I'm curious about when it comes to obsessive and harmonious. I've heard the word obsessive being used with many coaches who say you have to obsess about where it is that you want to go next. And I'm like, wow, that's really interesting. But maybe you're throwing it out here that you have to obsess about where you want to go, but not necessarily the route that you need to go.
That's right.
Okay.
You have to be open to it. So, and that's really, it's like U squared is very much, and a lot of coaches, I do love this idea. Really vision the destination, vision where you want to go, be open how you're going to get there. So I think that that's where the rigidity of, you got to do this, this, and this. So, like if somebody wants to be successful in their business, you got to get up and you got to do, put on this many social media posts and write this much. That is where I think things can get a little bit tough. So I do believe like you have to have that vision that you want for your life. And so I think that's exactly vision and openness. It's just putting it out there and then pulling that thread.
You survived the wrath of Cordone. Congratulations. You can take a glass of water now, bro. Tiffany, Coach Tiffany, I think Coach Tiffany and I are very proud of you right now, because like you were able to pull in with some practical advice. Yes, and the primalism, and I agree. U Square is a total game changer if you guys haven't read it. And so it is something when it comes to being obsessive and being able to think about, well, what is the book, or what is the boat that I need to burn at this point, versus, kind of being able to show up in my job fully, knowing that this job is not going to be a place where I'm at anymore. Because I see a lot of people who are like, well, I've checked out. Well, that's not going to help you, or it's not going to help where it is that you need to go, because there's an agreement that you're making to show up.
Yeah, or I've invested so much into this already, I need to keep going at it. So that's where I see a lot of that, where people are like, you know what, I invested so much in what I thought that my passion was up until this point, and I gotta just bear down and see it through and hope it changes. No, you don't.
Okay,
But
internet world, Hollywood has officially caught fire. Hollywood is on well, not the fires that we saw in Hollywood, but like Hollywood has officially gone to that place. I want you guys, I see you guys who are watching still. I want you to forward this out. I want you to share this out because Hollywood is about to erupt, and you are the founders who found Hollywood. Share him out. Cassie is now saying, burn the boats. To me means mentally deciding and committing. Keep forward momentum. Fire, high five. What are you feeling about that?
Oh, 100%. One of the things is, so that's the thing. You got to decide to decide. That's like the first step when you want to have change is, I agree with that. Yeah, that's Cassie. That's awesome. Yeah, burning the boats. It's deciding that you want to change, deciding that you do want to go for that vision that you have, deciding that you do want to make a change in your career, that you are okay with letting go of what's happened in the past and really going for what you want. You know, something's not feeling right, and you are deciding and committing to a future that you're really excited about. I think that that's a great way to think about burning those boats. Yeah.
So let me throw this out there then, because it sounds like we've found a healthy medium here, like in terms of burning the boats and what that means. And I want to go back to what you said when we first got on the interview, that this is really your year, Matt. So it sounds like you've made some sort of declaration internally for yourself. I want to hear what the declaration is.
So I'm deciding and committing to the vision. You know, I think that's where it is even now, I have to remind myself of what the vision is that I want for my life. And so the declaration that I had is really, I want this to be a year of impact for me. And so my vision is to make an impact not only in my own life, but make an impact in the lives of my clients, in the lives of my family. I want to make a pretty big impact, and I want 2019 to be epic. That's my vision for the year, and so that's where, and I'm passionate about it. So we talk about kind of debunking that passion. That's my vision. How I'm gonna get there, how I'm gonna make this big impact, it's yet to be written, and that's what I'm most excited about. So that's really the declaration that I'm making for this year.
I absolutely love hearing that. And the reason why I wanted to hear that exactly, 2019 is the year of Hollywood. Who's Matt? I have no idea who Matt is. I know who Hollywood is.
There's got to be like 12 zeros or 12 O's in there too.
Yeah, Matt Hollywood. That's a big thing is, absolutely. You're getting a lot of love from people right now. And I wanted to hear, for those of you watching live or watching the replay, what is your declaration for 2019? We're 15 days into it. There's still over 40 something days by that. Absolutely. Look at what you're doing. You make the declaration. Look at how people are affected by it. It's like we talk about in the Joy Revolution. It's absolutely contagious to see people doing stuff like this. And you see that in terms of your declaration, Matt, you're not doing a declaration that is hurting yourself or hurting your family or hurting other people. You are stepping into service versus something else, versus like, I'm going to do this for the ego and stuff like that. You can definitely see Matt stepping up right now. I want to hear what other people's declarations are, which is why I'm giving a little bit of time for this. Now, Matt, we completely deviated from the script. I closed it down a while ago. And so what I want to do is let's go back to this idea of passion and what people can do to actually create something that is what I like to call is almost like a platform for them to dance on and improv on, because that's what I heard you say is I know what I want to do. I want to make the people laugh, but how it's going to be done, well, I'm going to kind of co-create it and make shit up on the spot. And that's okay. I'm going to be in the moment with people. Yeah. So what can people do when it comes to what can it do? I'm watching people talk about how to pronounce Cassie's name in the so what can people do to actually go into a place of harmonious passion, one in which, for example, Jonathan is making the declaration, do it, Rocky Top.
Yeah.
2019 is the
Being
year.
uncomfortable. I love it.
Yeah, of getting comfortable, being uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
For example, Coach Tiffany, 2019 is my year of presence in the moment and visibility. Those are big, hairy, audacious goals. How do we actually now go about achieving that and being okay with not knowing every single thing?
Yeah. I think set that vision. Set like do it. Don't just say, yeah, I'm gonna be I'm gonna be better at my business, or I'm gonna be a better, show up better for my family or my coworkers or at my job. Like, actually be specific about it. Think about really, how do you want to do that? What is it that you want? And the other thing too is really take some time. I mean, like, if I was working with somebody who came to me who was really like wanted to kind of explore this, think about what it is. Look back as to what were the times when you really were excited. What are the things, like, if you're stuck in your job, what are the things that you actually do well in, that you are good at? For me, it was like working with college kids and high school kids in entertainment. That was nothing related to my career path. It was nothing related to what I was actually doing. Trying to develop movies and TV shows and all of that kind of stuff. So really just kind of turn on that receiver. And so I think, like, set that vision and be clear about it. Yeah, I think, like,
well, I think the thing that I really love about that is that we don't have to continue to add on to our lives. We just need to focus in on what we're already not probably paying attention to, right?
Yeah.
So, like, when you're like, what is it that's lighting you up right now? Well, that's what Hollywood is here for, right? And what's funny is that it's almost the practices that people were using to activate and level you up. They were just observing what lit you up.
Totally. Yeah, it's finding those clues. So it's like, just act on those clues. So if there's something that you're interested in, excited about, or if there's someone that you want to talk to that it's been kind of nagging at you, just like take that step. That's it. Just find something to act on, because you never know where it's going to lead. I'm a big believer in curiosity. I think that's the fuel that's going to help just lead you on the path, because you can have that vision, you got to act on it. And so really just start with somewhere. Start with one step. Start with just like one thing, one committed action that you're going to do that is going to help kind of start to open up those doors.
What I think is really awesome about that is this idea that curiosity is something that seems to be the first thing to go when you obsess about the rigid steps you need to take. Once you obsess about the rigid steps you need to take, there is no more curiosity. It's right, wrong, black, white. You either do it this way or you fail. You either do it that way and accomplish it, or you fail. By the way, I'm loving what's happening right now. This community is forming right in front of your face. I don't know if you see the magic in what's happening.
I love it.
Love it. Look, people are talking to Rocky Top right now. People want to know how to pronounce Cassie's name because of you. Making declarations. 2019 is the year of effective transformation. Keep the conversation going. Such a good point. What did you love, right? Cassie's throwing gasoline on shit, yo. 2019, I'm all in. It's all about throwing gasoline on the blaze of momentum and turning it into an inferno. Fire. Stay away from California, because this whole state will blow down if you light a match. So, like, stay away from us, Cassie, but you can do it in Georgia. Walter, again, living by inspiration and curiosity. You've got a nice little community that's forming in front of you. No more halfway in and halfway out. Go for it. Dive head first. Go all in.
Go all in.
Love what people are talking about, and I love the fact that you're prefacing this with, yeah, look before you leap, says Matt. That's your vision. You don't just leap into everything blindly and like to hurt yourself diving into empty pools of water, right? Like, or hurt yourself knowing that you're not looking before you leap. And so I think that's the message that Matt is sending out. No more going halfway, but before you leap, look where you're going. Have that vision. Take the action to leap, but leap with certain precautions so you don't.
Intention.
Yeah. Intention, exactly.
Hey,
So,
Mark, keep going. I got to plug my computer in. We're on live.
You son of
This
a
is a
gun.
live TV moment. Keep going. 2 seconds.
Son of a gun. Right when we catch fire, look at Hollywood run. Look at Hollywood run. He must have the Band-Aids on the nipple, everybody. I think he has to pee, to be quite honest, because you only skip and jump when you got a pee-pee in your pants like that. That's what happens from living all out. Plug that shit in, man. Get over here. No more like no more wasting time. Fantastic.
We are live.
Here's the dealio, Matt.
I
have to tell you this on live TV, and you've heard me run, Forrest, run. He's got magic legs. Number one is we need to go to this father's office.
Yes.
And why can't I put ketchup on my burgers?
So it's a great burger and beer place. So actually, dude, you're all about In-N-Out, but LA is a magic city for burgers. Like you will, from the shacks on the side of the road to the fanciest like $25 burgers, you find everything you can. So Father's Office, great burger and beer place. Got a couple locations. One we're probably right near
Santa Monica.
So he is known for a burger that it's amazing, but he will not allow substitutions or ketchup on his burger. So
shit, I'm putting ketchup on the burger in front of him. Now that I'm not allowed to do it, I want to do it.
Okay, good luck. Good luck.
Okay, so
many have tried and many have failed. Yeah.
Our next Facebook Live will be me getting kicked out of the Father's Office. Stay tuned for that. Hollywood, I do have to say this. It has been an honor to walk with you on your journey, man. This, I believe, will be your year. Whether external or internal, I can already see the changes in the past 3 months, dude. Tiffany, you are a lucky person to continue working with Hollywood. And so given that, my friend, we're going to go and get burgers. But for now, you need to get to whatever it is that you're going to get to next in that nice little polo or a nice little office shirt that you've got. And I want you to imagine, Hollywood, that a golden mic is coming down from your ceiling. That's right. Take the golden mic out of my hands. Now this golden mic exactly is stopping in front of you, and it translates into every language all across the world for 2 minutes or less. The whole world is listening to what it is that you have to say, Hollywood. And so given that, Matt Mills, your golden mic is live now.
You are not what you do. You are not the office you go to. You are not the company you work for. You are not the person, the thing that you do every single day. You are much more than that. You are somebody who is passionate about more than just their work, more than just their career, more than just their life. You love so much about getting up that you realize there's so much more in your life that you love, so much more in your life that you want to have be a part of you and want to shine. And so I want to say, you can discover that. You can have a thriving, fulfilling, exciting, challenging, whatever it is, whatever kind of life that you want, beyond just your job, beyond just what your routine is in the day. You can have and be and do anything that you want. And so I'm excited for everybody to get to that point, to have a life where you can get up, be excited about what you're doing, be excited about having that day, taking on the challenges, pulling those threads, stepping into that unknown, and having the courage to step beyond those fears.
Hollywood, I want you to take that golden mic. I want you to hold it in front of you. Now I want you to toss that golden mic like it's hot because you just said it. Look at him. That's why you need to wear Band-Aids on your nipples, because the golden mic just exploded on your shirt and you needed nipple protection. Matt Mills, you son of a gun. We're going to go to the father's office and we are going to cause some havoc. Until then, I want y'all to watch, because the golden mic is up for grabs right now. Whoever wants to grab it next and come on the show, bring it. PM me. I hope you had a blast and you felt like you were in flow, because you completely crushed it, my friend. How do we keep in touch with you?
Yeah, so I want to hear from everybody. You know, even if you just want to chat, I love, like I said, I'm very curious. I love talking to people, love meeting people. So shoot me an email at mattcmills, mattcmills.com. So matt@mattcmills.com. I do offer a call for anyone who's interested in working with me more. You know what? I just want to chat. So you can email me. You can go to my website, mattcmills.com, and sign up for a time to talk with me. So, but I want to hear from you. So hit me up on Facebook, hit me up on LinkedIn, whatever it is. I'm on all platforms. So I want to talk to you. I want to hear from you.
Awesome. Matt C. Mills. What does the C stand for?
It's Christopher. It's my middle name.
Christopher. I thought you'd say Cordova.
Matt Mills is like the English soccer player or something like that. Like he's it's not an uncommon name. So yeah.
Well, that's why your name is Hollywood, because you've distinguished yourself from everybody else. Y'all, this has been Hollywood. I would love to have you back on the show, my friend. So let's do this. Yes, everybody knows someone who is not happy at their job. Absolutely, Tiffany. We're gonna have the golden mic on tomorrow. We're going up the West Coast to San Francisco with Javier Llerena, who's going to add high octane to our work. So it's a perfect segue into the work that he's doing. This is the final question I've got for everybody who's still watching, because I see you. You kept everyone gripped to this show, Matt. For those of you who are feeling life and you're feeling happy and you're living life to its full potential now, what is your responsibility to changing history for the better? Matt C. Mills, Mark Cordone, episode 105. You can't cancel us. We'll see you tomorrow. PM me if you want to get on the show. PM Matt if you want to know everything and anything about passion. See ya. Matt, stay on.